Hi, good afternoon. Good morning, Kun
Morning.
Monchanok.
Good morning, Silmi.
Welcome to our edition of Inspiring Women of Travel Asia. And we have today Kunja. So thank you very much for joining us today.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure to join you too.
It's very excited to have you on board because, I'm very curious about your journey in hospitality. To give a bit of a background to our audience. So Kunja is a board member of Royal Orchid Sheraton and also a consultant for Grand Asset Hotels and Property. And you are currently based in Bangkok, correct?
Correct. I'm based in Bangkok. And to tell you more about my journey in hospitality, it started since I was young. I wanted to be a doctor, and that was because to cure people from sufferings. But then I found that from traveling with my family, I found that hospitality and hotels, it is an industry that we have space for creativity so that we can create a lot of good memories or happiness for people when they are still well. So that is why I stepped into this hospitality realm, and then I turned my focus and my study into hospitality later.
Oh, wow. Because I did see from your career journey that you started out, you also worked as an auditor or in PricewaterhouseCoopers as well, PwC.
Right. And
then you moved into hospitality. Fantastic. So what made the move? It's a very different industry, and I'm sure there is some correlation in what you're doing as well now, which you apply to. So yeah, it's quite interesting. So would you be able to perhaps explain what triggered the change and what inspired you to change as well?
For sure. Actually, I wanted to be in the hospitality business since before I joined the auditor world, but then I stepped into the audit experience because I think that understanding the whole business is the most important, and auditing, being an auditor gives me opportunities to understand the whole process of a business, because hospitality is also a business. And if we want to look at it from an entrepreneurial perspective, instead of just the operational, we'll be able to understand, since the owner side, the investment, P&L, and how can we carry the business, but we can also put our passion into creating something new for the business, which I really think it's valuable. And then after that, so I pursued my master's degree in hospitality. So that really, I really had the best year of my life studying there, because I get to meet people of the same interest and people who came from different industries as well. Some were architects, some were engineers, some were in the finance industry, or even some were working in restaurants already.
And it's great, because I also see that you study in America, in Cornell University. Is that where you had the experience of meeting new people and also getting all the experience that you've
yes,
been exposed to hospitality?
Yes, because hospitality is an industry that is so international. We have no barriers of languages, nationalities for travelers or even employees in our industry. So it's very important that we are exposed to understanding and be mindful of different cultures, so that we can welcome all the guests from all over the world with respect, and we will be able to create something for everyone.
Fantastic. That's really great. I just realized as well, I forgot to introduce myself to the audience. So I'm Sumi Suryan. I'm the Executive Director of Phuket Hotels Association. which is a nonprofit organization with current 78 hotel active members here based in Phuket. So it is my great pleasure to meet and also have this interview with Kun Ja today, because I'm also very interested to know, so you're on the board member of the Royal Orchid Sheraton. So what's the role that consists of, and how is that impacting the professional career, and also how can that be your inspiration journey can share to others?
Yes, for sure. As we know,
because board member role is very demanding and sometimes can be quite intense.
Yes, as we all know, Royal Orchid Sheraton has been open since in the 80s, and it was one of the best hotel in Bangkok during that time, and it was one of the flagship property given its location and legendary stories. And having a chance to step into this property as a board member, I feel very valued. Like, it's one of the best opportunities I will be even given, having been working in the hospitality. And I think a role as a board member, I will be able to create the plan for the future for Royal Orchid Sheraton to come back stronger and bringing its glory back again. It is such the location is one of the best in Bangkok, being next to the Chao Phraya River, on the opposite to Icon Siam and next to the Portuguese embassy. So it has a lot of stories behind it. So I still believe I step into this role. We are working on a lot of development plan for this property, and it is very exciting. I have to work with a lot of parties, the current team and consultants and stakeholders to create. Well, there's a lot of inspiration for this property because it is currently called an art district, because around the Jalan Groom area, which is the first road in Bangkok ever built, it is located next to a lot of historical places. It's surrounded by galleries, museums, and arts. So there's a lot of stories and history behind the property that we can create a very interesting theme for it going forward, whether in the decoration, rooms development, and F&B concepts going forward.
Wow, that is super interesting. And I'm sure you meet a lot of people along the way that, you get to learn about, all the different things. So are you able to share what do you look forward to every day in what you do? So what gets you excited about your professional journey at the moment?
For sure, Sumi. I am excited to wake up every day and being able to create something new. So as you know, I was an auditor before, and in that profession, there is not a lot of creativity, but it was more of a professional role. But within the hospitality, we get to read the news and understand the people every day. What kind of things the world is in need now? For example, environmental awareness, equality, emotional well-being for the people. So we are looking for something. We are creating something that we can offer to the people who are at the current generations, what they need. We can create something that is more casual, but at the upper scale, so that people can, because the younger generations tend to have less level of formality comparing to their parents, but then we can also create something for the families that is yeah, that we can work around the services and products that we create. So it's something that keep me exciting, and because it impacts the world as a whole. Everyone from every industry will be a guest in one of the hotels and resorts at some points in their life when they are traveling. So we get to create something for a lot of people, and that has a lot of impact. That is very meaningful.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I think you hit the nail right there. You know, with the current situation, the guest experience nowadays, you know, it's all about community, the impact on people, society, and also the environment that we live in. So yeah, sustainability plays a big part, and also supporting, you know, the local community, and also yeah, I guess building the surroundings as well, which is really important, that we often take for granted in the last generation. So, you know, what they need now in the new generation, it's very different. People are looking for different values that is rewarding. So yeah, I absolutely feel you, because I feel accomplished as well working for the Phuket Hotels Association, where CSR and the community-based work is very important in what we do. So I go to bed every day feeling good about it, because, you know, I've not only give back to the community, but, you know, I'm creating something that is meaningful to myself and my children when they grow up.
That's wonderful.
And yeah, exactly. So I'm interested to know, given, you know, there's intense roles. I mean, not only just as a board member, but also as a consultant to the Grand Asset Hotels and Property. How do you find the balance to also make sure that you look after yourself and your well-being? So what are the things that you do outside of work that also helps you, you know, keep motivated, keep active, and also engage with, you know, life outside of work?
Well, sure. I think one of the things that I do outside of work is to go out with friends and explore different restaurants, museums, art galleries, or join classes. For example, those exercise classes, for example, sound healing on the weekends, or a farmer's market. And that is, in those places, I am exposed to some crowds who have the same interest of taking care of themselves in order to take care of others around them. And it is fun to see different people. And sometimes during exercise class or even painting classes, I found that I can connect with myself and really concentrate. It's a kind of active meditation that I can gain my energy back, or sometimes sharing funny stories with friends, getting to smile or have wonderful experience traveling. And that is really something that is fulfilling. And apart from that, I tend to allocate time for my parents and my family. And when those people around us are happy, I think we are happy too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, the surrounding of where we live, you know, if it's peaceful and harmonious, it just makes our well-being also much better as well.
Yes.
So in terms of the future, like, you know, you did mention quite a few about, you know, the values, and also rewarding community work, and also sustainability work. In terms of for the hotels, part of the guest experience as well, what do you, is there a framework for building people and also culture, as well as building youth in terms of training, mentorship as well? For me, I feel it's a really important part, especially now post-COVID. It's a huge challenge that all the hospitality industry is facing. It's not only staff shortage, but also skilled staff.
Right.
Yeah, so what are the measures or so, I guess, strategies that you're taking for the hotels in this area of development?
For sure, team is one of the most important thing in working in a hotel, because we have to work together. It's everyone's achievement. So we focus on recruiting the right people who have to share the value and attitude that is more flexible, because with less people working in the hospitality currently, we are looking for someone who's willing to learn more of what their role is, and they are given opportunities to learn further into their specialist, or finding the other strengths that or potential that they might have within the hospitality role. For example, we might have someone working at the front desk and getting chances to work in the other departments to rotate, or even the managerial role, so that they can grow. And then other things include building the team culture and environment that is nurturing, because I think that is important. People after COVID are looking for more empathy within the team, and we focus on giving opportunities for our existing employees. So we want to grow them, or putting them in a to explore different positions that they have never experienced. But then when we recruit new people, we want to create a harmony within the team. And I think the leadership is the most important within hotels. The leaders within the properties will be focused on nurturing and growing their employees. And being approachable, I think is important too, because sometimes the language barrier, or some people are too shy to speak about their problems. And I think knocking door policy is also one of the things that can reduce the gap between the staff level and the management. So I think it's important to hear each other's voice.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think, having open communications and and also 360, not just a one-way communication as well, always helps. I'm also very interested to know what throughout your journey in hospitality, what's your most valuable lesson that you've learned, that you remember, and then that you would advise the next or up and coming hotelier?
For hoteliers, we work a lot with people. Most of the people we work with, we work with hundreds of people most of the time. And I think one of the most important thing to share for me in my experience is the communication method is the most important. Sometimes we give positive feedback or negative feedback to the team. I think it is important to make sure that our points are communicated without any misunderstanding, and with the most logical way possible. Because sometimes when working with a lot of people, there are emotions, there are misunderstanding, and I think working with people, we have to be very sensitive with communication.
Yeah, absolutely. I think also sensitive to cultures as well, to
True.
some level, and also diversity, right? I mean, everyone's a little bit different on how we communicate and also deliver certain actions. Thanks for sharing. I've got two more questions, and
Sure.
if you have a bit more time. I would also like to know how would you help to make with people that you work with, how do you help them? So making communication easy is and approachable is important. How do we motivate them from every day, especially trying to help them with their career progression? How would you personally help people around you to achieve those goals?
I think sometimes in a work setting, it might seem to be quite formal and the communication doesn't affect emotionally. So sometimes when we are out of the working hours, we go out for a dinner or lunch once in a while. And I think in that relaxed atmosphere, people are more open to your stories or sharing. And I think at that time, we can take more time to hear that how they feel about their life, whether they're happy working in this kind of environment, or how do they feel we can improve the working environment for them. But at the same time, we also have opportunities to share with them how the team's input is important to our company's growth instead of just it's not a management responsibility alone, it's the team's achievement. So I think one of the most important thing is to make sure the team knows they are important and they are part of the achievement, which sometimes working on a daily basis on their routine job, they might not know how their job affects or linked to the bigger picture. So having a relaxing time with them sometimes to share and to hear them, I think it's one of the things that can help with communication.
Absolutely. I think team bonding and also relationship fostering outside of work definitely helps, because it's a more relaxed situation. And yeah, as you mentioned, in a social environment, people are just more open to actually, say things that are a little bit more yeah, non-formal situation. Yeah, excellent. And also this program is focused on inspiring women in travel and hospitality. So I would like to ask the last question to you, like, what advice would you give in women in the hospitality industry? And given in your current status and position, it's a very demanding, hospitality is fun, but also can be quite demanding of your time and also space. So what advice would you give to women in our industry?
Yeah, I still see that hospitality leaders are still males, mostly in Asia, but in the past years, there are more women stepping in as a leader more and more. And I just want the women to know that we will not have the same approach as male leaders, but we can create the comparable result or even better for being in the same role. The ways that most of the time when males leaders have to make decision, it can be firm, they can express it more firmly or aggressively. But then as women, especially in Asia, women are a little bit more expected to be less aggressive. But then being in the leader position, we cannot be firm. So I think women can still be firm, but then we can do it in a way that we feel comfortable. And I think the team or the staff might even receive it better, because if we have empathy towards others, I believe others will have empathy towards us too, and maybe the team bonding might be even better. So I encourage all the women in the travel and hospitality industry to step up and be themselves. I believe in your potential. Women have a lot of multitasking skill and also a lot of detail work that we can spot. So in hospitality, sometimes it's a lot of different detail that makes a difference. So with that strength, we can be in a comparable role. Just be out there and get yourself out there.
I can't agree with you more. And also I think with your values and principles of having open communication, that is definitely, you know, helpful in situation, especially as high status as yourself, being a board member and also consultant to a large group of hotels and property. That definitely will help in terms of, you know, getting our points across and be firm in what we communicate. As long as like it's transparent, it's clear, we can have the same opportunities when it's presented to us as women. But I have to say, you know, and agree, there's not many women positions as board members, and especially in consultancy role. But I guess that's just the nature of the industry. But it's nice to see that, you know, there are more and more up and coming women in those positions, because it does make a difference and it does inspire and impact the younger generation as well to make bold moves like that. So thank you again for sharing your experience and journey with us today, Kunza. I really appreciate that you've taken the time to join us.
Thank you for the opportunities to be a part of inspiring women in travel Asia, Sumi, and I'm very glad to share my part that I can encourage and inspire more women in our industry. Thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, and I hope to see you again very soon.
Me too. Bye-bye.
Thank you. ขอบคุณค่ะ